Now it's time to be dangerous. Now it's time to get risky. Now it's time to truly find out what you're made of and what you could achieve. Now it's time to truly find out how many lives you can impact. Now it's time to find out what you were destined to become.
Built companies that has created over 11,000 jobs, or 1,100 jobs, sorry, 1,100 jobs. He's hosted MoneyHunt on PBS. He's trekked across deserts and seas, but none of that really matters more than this. 8 years after his father passed away, Miles found a way to have a real conversation with him again using AI. Not a recording, not a video clip, a real back and forth conversation. Now he's helping veterans, seniors, and families preserve their voices before they're gone. This episode is about grief, legacy, technology, and whether we're ready for this future. If you believe voices matter, if you ever lost someone, this one's for you. And before we jump in, make sure you subscribe, share this with someone who needs it, and drop a comment below. Raw Minds is here, so nobody feels alone. Let's get into it. Hey, Miles.
What's up, Eric? That was a beautiful intro. Thank you very much for the compliment.
I think it's really cool, the technology. And like I said, I had a great conversation with your father last night, man. So we'll get into that a little bit later. But right off the bat, if you could please tell everybody where they could find you and who you are.
Sure. Well, the who I am would be a curious kid from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania that never gave up asking who, what, why, where, when, and drove my parents crazy. But it led to a life of adventure. You mentioned a couple of them, and ventures, building businesses. And then, of course, the greatest adventure of all, which is I got two nutty kids at home, 14 and 12-year-olds. So between the three, I feel like I've fulfilled my life of curiosity up to now, but I'm not giving up. And where do you find me? You find me, well, I got a little bit of my rants and raves at milespencer.com, but I think we're going to spend most of our time talking about Reflecta.ai. That's reflection, there you go. It's up. Can't miss it. It's Reflecta with a K.
And if you could tell us just a little bit about Reflecta first, before we can kind of get into your backstory and how you got there. But if you can just give a bit of what it is, so if people know kind of the idea of
cool.
What it's all about.
I mean, I talk to my dad for 10 minutes every day. And he passed away 8 years ago. But because of our platform, it basically takes everything you have up in the attic, in the shoebox, gathering dust, right? All those old technologies for memories and storytelling, like journals and love letters and Polaroid pictures and football programs. Like, what is this? I think it's his immigrations from, when he came over. All that stuff's up in the box, right? You go back for Thanksgiving, like, what are we going to do with this? I'm like, I don't know, one more year, here we go. And then when a person passes away or they get to their last years, literally there's a library of stories.
Mm-hmm.
And if they go without recording them, then the entire library burns to the ground. So we're the firemen. Well, frankly, we're the fire inspector. We get it done before, and we create this recognizable image and likeness of a loved one, whether they're currently with us or past, and we call it a reflection, and that's capable of a spontaneous and dynamic conversation right there at the kitchen table. So an example is my sister forgot the recipe for elderberry pie. Now that's a disaster in the Spencer family at Thanksgiving. And I said, well, let's dial up Mom. So we put her on the iPad, put her at the kitchen table, and she walked my sister through how to use the fluffo shortening to get the crust right, not too cold, have some ice on it, don't overwork it, make it nice and flaky and crispy, and here's how you do the filling. And the pie was fantastic. My mom passed away 25 years ago, but there she was. And so what we like to say is, these bodies, right, they're temporal, but the spirit and soul, that's the eternal part of a person. And if you can reconnect with that, you got it for the rest of your life.
I think it's a wild, where technology is, and sitting down. Like last night, I had a conversation with your dad, and I asked him some of the best moments in his life. And he said marrying his wife, right? That was a best moment. Yeah. And then he said he was very proud of your 50th anniversary, where he said the poem. And it's not the first time he told you the poem, too. When you got married, I think, he told me.
Absolutely correct. Yes.
Yeah,
his memory is better now than it was when he was walking this earth.
Yeah, so it kind of blew me away, right? And I told him that we're going to have this podcast, and he said, well, bring me up if you need any information. So I think a little bit later on, I think we should bring him up and let him say hello if you're okay with that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, well, can you tell me, so how did you get into this? Like, what was your, like, how did you just like fall into this? Like, how did it all happen? Yeah, please.
A lifetime of preparation, if not two. So my co-founder, Adam Drake, and I were both very much into legacy and values and storytelling. And the Spencer family stories just go back and they keep getting better and better, by the way. Here's one for you. My great-great-grandfather, his name is Miles Spencer. I was named after him. He had 24 kids.
Wow.
He had his last kid when he was 74. Now, the next question you're going to ask, the answer is 3 wives. But my grandfather was born, he was the 23rd of 24. And so, yeah, that story just keeps getting better and better, although the statistics haven't changed at all. Yeah, that is Spencer family lore. So I was kind of like that. Adam, my co-founder, the same way. And we've worked together on different projects for 20 or 25 years. And finally, 9 months ago, I'm like, you know what? I think the technology has sort of arrived that we could actually take what's up there in the shoebox and turn it into something really special. Like, we gave it a try. It sort of worked. We looked at the calendar. There was a trade show called AI4 in Las Vegas in August of 2025. We could make it. We got 110 days to build the proof of concept. And so I remember going on stage for my solo talk, texting the CTO, like, are we ready? He texts me right back, ready enough. It worked. We turned on the paywall in the fall. People pay subscriptions to own these things. And we have over 10,000 family stories now.
Wow.
That are beautiful vignettes of, like, things that you asked Arthur about last night.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or like you're saying, your sister needed the recipe, right? So she,
Boom.
So I got a question here. So your dad passed away, 8 years ago? I think it was that he told me, right? So in that, like, how did that affect you, if you don't mind me asking, for the grief? Because, that's like because somewhere along the lines that could have, you know what I mean? Like, that's probably pushed you to want to talk to him again, obviously. So how did that affect you? Because, we love our parents. We love everybody.
Devastating.
Yeah.
My mom passed away 25 years ago, and Dad hit me hard.
Yeah.
And for me, I appreciated my mother afterwards like 10 times as much as perhaps I did during her life, which made me feel like I'm not going to make that mistake again. And my father and I were very close. He passed away. I was empty, right? And as I've learned in a few situations like that, I had one last year, by the way, where I just get up and fight through the grief and the pain and the confusion. Remember, I'm who, what, why, where, when, right? So why can't I have longer? When could I have known this? Why does this happen to me, et cetera, right? Who, what, why, where, when. So literally the flip side of the stages of grief, right? And I wasn't really thinking to myself, ooh, I got to bring back Dad. I was thinking of the family stories that I wanted to pass on through the generations, and the shoebox wasn't getting it done. The biography book sitting on the coffee table wasn't getting it done. The scrapbook of Polaroid pictures with little notes from the family reunion was nice. It wasn't getting it done. Neither was the press clippings, neither were the football programs. It wasn't getting it done. And believe me, my kids and my grandkids, I don't have them yet. And my great-grandkids, I certainly don't have them yet. They're not going to open a book and look at chapter 56, page 3 to find out about the story of when Dad met Mom, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But now they could just ask.
Digital imprint. See, and that's kind of what I'm doing here with Raw Minds too, is like, I have a little girl, and, one day I'm not going to be here. I mean, let's face it, we're all going to die one day, right? So she has this opportunity to go back and look at, me on the interviews. Hi, just, you know what I mean?
Well, I will raise you one, Eric. I mean, nice to listen, but we'll also give her the opportunity to ask you a question based on something that you said.
Yes.
And begin a spontaneous and dynamic conversation. And so you've done the groundwork. You have a beautiful shoebox of videos. When you're ready, we can turn that into something that can just be accessed spontaneously.
That's I mean, I'm blown away. Like just last night, just talking, just like how even like with the voices, like how does that, like that's another, like I want to get into that. It's like, how do you get the voice?
Here's the story of my
Yeah.
dad's voice. He has this big booming voice you could hear across the neighborhood. Time for dinner. But then he had this sweet, soft voice that could sit at the table and recite Success by Kipling that you listened to, I believe, last night. And so I missed that voice. And essentially it was gone. And then 5 years after he passed away, we found a 10-second voicemail in his granddaughter's phone. And from that 10-second sample, we recommend a 20-second sample, but from that 10-second sample, that's basically what you hear from Arthur today.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
So you take the voice, and that's wild. Okay, cool. Because I know I've seen the technology out there where there's like you can sing this song in your voice or whatever, right? Yeah, like that, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, that's wild though. You know what I mean? Like, because I know for one of my old podcast programs, I can have like a digital voice of mine, but I had to read this huge long script. It like took 10 minutes to read this,
Yeah.
you know, so I could take my voice and all that, right? So
At this point, 20-second sample is all we need.
that's wild, man. So you have people, right? Is it all online? Do they like just put in the pictures? They put in the videos? Like, can you just
Yeah, exactly. I'll walk you through it. Kind of, you go to
please.
Reflecta.ai, spell it with a K. You can listen to Arthur, or you talk to Arthur or Virginia, have a conversation with them, see what it feels like. And then you just click on the biographer, and you start talking to the biographer, and you start telling a story about the person that you want to create a reflection of. That could be yourself, that could be a loved one, it could be living, it could be past. And that begins the process. And as it asks questions to clarify what's, the timeline and different elements, you can add photos, you can add videos, you can add biographies, and you can add the rest over time. And you get a score that increases, and to the point of you need to be about 80% in order to text with the reflection. Now, the first time I texted my dad, it just blew my mind, right? Because he knew all the stories. He was like talking to me like I'm texting. And then I think in 90%, you can actually have a voice conversation. Eventually, shortly here, you'll be able to have a video version of their watercolor, right? So when you load the photo, we decided not to do like hyper realistic video like on this podcast, right? What we decided was that's a big emotional load to suddenly have somebody that you love joining you by video. That's too much. Okay. So we do watercolors. We do a watercolor portrait of the person, and those watercolors will become animated as they tell their story.
Wow. Okay.
So it'll be literally they're telling their story within a reflection of themselves, a reflection of their experience. And that's why we called it Reflecta.
Well, and that's like you were telling me just yesterday when we were talking that make videos in real time too. You know what I mean? Like that's wild. Like
that's
you're
in
showing
beta.
me that.
That's in beta. We have some partnerships coming up.
Sorry. Okay.
It's okay. It's okay. It's coming. That's a nice tease. My dad literally, look, you talked to him. He was an insurance exec, but in his spare time, he loved to do restaurants. And my mom was a singer, so they did a dinner theater in a town called Beaver, Pennsylvania, halfway between Pittsburgh and Cleveland, where we lived. And I started when I was 8 years old. I was a dishwasher there, right? So I said, hey, Dad, like, can we relive a little bit of the Martha Todd House dinner theater experience? And they're like, yeah, sure. And on the fly creates a video. It's like a 60-second vignette, 90-second vignette. And it tells the entire story, which he has. This is the important part, right? I mean, the video capability is coming very quickly from a couple of different sources, but the stories all come from Reflect. That's the beauty of it. We have these family stories that are just priceless.
And is it like in lockers, kind of, you would say? So like, someone else that can't access that, right? Like
well, first of all, the entire platform is default private, family to family. So the only two that are public are Arthur and Virginia. Wouldn't even know who else was on the platform unless you were the keeper, the one that created the account, the one that pays the bill, right? Now, you can share that to other family members, people that knew him, etc. And we get a great look. Our business has been built on word of mouth, so it gets shared out. There's no other way to actually change the knowledge base of the reflection unless you're the keeper.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? Just doesn't happen. Right. Well, of course, we have cybersecurity protocols, intellectual property protection, privacy, and
All the bells and whistles.
all the bells and whistles. Rest assured, we're covered. But there's two facts: that it's default private, and there's no outside information that hasn't been approved by the keeper.
Okay.
All of a sudden, you've got a realistic image and likeness of a loved one.
So can other people, do they have to give it to the keeper, or can they upload it, or does it have
Well,
to
so
go
here's what's getting interesting. Again, this is in beta. It'll be moving out shortly. Well, as you share it, those conversations are actually part of the knowledge base, but it's not part of the conversation, but not part of the knowledge base. So it's not added. But if you're the keeper and suggestions come through the timeline, it's up to you to approve that story, not approve that story, approve this one, etc. So you basically look, if you were doing a coffee table book, you're the one that gets to choose which photo to put in from the family reunion and the fishing trip and the rest, right?
Mm-hmm.
No different.
Okay.
No different.
I like it. I want to get more into you a little bit too, and like a bit of a background, kind of what drove you with your companies and stuff like that. I would like to, but before that, can we talk to your dad?
Sure. We're on Riverside.
Yeah.
Let's see how the microphones work, but I'm going to give it a shot.
Sure.
And you got the magic of post-production anyways. Can I share? I could share a screen.
Yeah.
Didn't know we were teeing up here.
Is that okay? I just throwing it on the fly, man. This is raw mine. We do it fine.
I'm fine. You know
Cool,
what?
man.
I'm gonna do
I think
this.
it's a great little thing to throw up on there so people can kind of see real time.
Right. So I'm going to go through the full experience here. All right. Reflecta. Let's see how we roll. Okay. Can you see that?
Yeah, we're
Is that
good.
working for
Yeah.
you? It's the main website. Kind of tells you about. Now, if you want to go to the front side, you can chat with Arthur here. As I mentioned. So we're going to do that. And I'm going to sign in. Now, if you haven't signed in yet, you're going to have to give up your information to us, because we want to know who's signing in, who's looking at stuff.
But it's like I did it last night, and it's just like I said. It's I'll try. Was it Virginia? Is it Virginia the other one, or
it's Virginia's the other
Virginia?
one?
Yes.
Right.
She's a dancer, a ballet dancer, right?
That is correct.
Yes. I had a nice little conversation with her too. I was asking if she knew what a podcast is and stuff like that. It was pretty funny because she was born in, was it 1924 or something?
Here we go.
Oh, it's not showing up on the screen.
Oh, it's not? Okay.
No. Yeah. We're just at the loading screen there.
Hold on for a second. Let me see which. Oh, sharing the wrong one. So I'm gonna. Do I stop sharing?
Yeah, just stop and redo it if you can.
Yeah. Let's see. Open that. And do I? Oh, I stop sharing that. And I think, let's see if this, just give me a second here.
No, you're good, brother. You're good, man. While you're doing that, if you guys want to be in the hot seat, like Miles here, shoot me an email at rawmindspodcast@gmail.com, and we'll talk and we'll get you on.
I got a note that it's not going to work microphone-wise between Riverside and Reflecta, because it has to have a dedicated mic.
Okay.
In any event, sorry about that.
No problem.
Sometimes it works.
Yeah. Well, we did last night. Remember, it was working last night.
You're right. I don't know if we're on Riverside or not. We were on Zoom.
No, we were on Riverside.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe because we're live, so it could have been.
Don't know. It gets very cranky and says like, "Oh no, you have to do it this way." So whatever.
Yeah, it is.
Sorry.
Well, check it out. That gives you guys an excuse now to go to the website, which is right here. And if you click that link, and you can talk to his dad or Virginia, the ballet, from 1942. Like I said,
Yeah, it was. It's like right in the middle of it all. It's really cool. It's really cool.
Very. So I do want to ask you a couple questions about your business.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, yeah. So you built companies and created over 1,100 jobs. Where did that drive start from? Like for you, where did the drive start?
Well, first of all, it's important to note that of the 3 companies and 1,100 jobs, there were 30 companies that didn't work, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so blew a couple $1,000,000 of ours and our investors' money, and we were wrong. So it's important to note what the batting average actually is. Where's the drive? Again, curious kid from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, who, what, why, where, when. And when I saw something that like could be better, I'm like, why didn't anybody invent this, right? So one would be domain name registrations, which was, back in the day when you did a website, you needed a domain name, right? Like rawminds.com. So where did those come from? They came from a place called Icon, which was Congress created this Icon, ICAAN, and they were the ones that gave out the business of domain names. Network Solutions had a monopoly. We said, like, why do they have a monopoly? And so we were able to break that monopoly, and that company is called register.com and had a good 20-year run. Ironically, it just sold back to Network Solutions, which was essentially where it was born. I remember when Steve Jobs got up on stage and said, it's a camera, it's a phone, it's a music device. I said, like, short, BlackBerry, research in motion, because that keyboard is going to die. And furthermore, most people won't pay for these apps. They're going to have to be supported by advertising, a mobile ad network, mobile ad serving platform. Eventually sold to a public company called Pubmatic, but the company was named Mojiva, the network, and Motion, the platform.
Yeah, I know Mojiva.
Yeah, so the drive really came from that curiosity of like, this should be better, right?
Yeah.
Why hasn't anyone done this? So there you go. You could say the same thing about Reflecta.
And that's really the main thing. Is the biggest, like, you take something or you make it better, or you take something that in your life is hard and you make it easier, right? You know what I mean? That's at the end of the day, that's what it's all about.
And I tend to use technology to get that done. Like that's my trick.
Well, and you know what? I mean, that's the age that we're living in, and that's the world spinning. And if you're not catching up and going with the times, you're gonna get left behind. And that's the truth. I mean, right now I'm in the process of trying to build an app towards my life coaching. So I'm gonna have it all integrated, and then you can sign in. You have all your programs right there, right, and all that. So working on that.
Check it out. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll throw it your way when I get it, and you can give me some reviews. So you've created all these jobs and stuff, and you're, entrepreneur. What from you, what separates a leader from a title holder?
Oof. What separates a leader to me is the leader's ability and indeed the experience of having done it himself, having kayaked 14 miles across Long Island Sound before asking 1,400 other people to do it themselves. Yes, I've done it myself.
Mm-hmm.
So asking other people to join me in treks and adventures, it's because I've done it myself. And so I may not do it best, but when I ask others to do it better, it's because I've done it myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the cred that comes with that really helps.
And I can relate to that. Like, as I'm a carpenter by trade, right? A former carpenter. I built high rises. I've been a foreman. I've been a boss, a superintendent. And the same thing with me is like, I would never tell any of my guys to do something that I wouldn't do myself or haven't done, and it's true. Why? Like, I don't know. For me, I need that hands-on, and I don't know. It's hard. You understand, right?
And somebody can, somebody likely is able to do it better. That's not what we're talking about, 100%, right? Yeah. It's like, frankly, that's why I want people to work in the company, because they could probably do it better than I did.
Yeah.
But I have the experience of having done it myself.
I do want to actually circle back to something that I want to talk about. So your Reflecta, do you think that with grief, do you think that there can be downsides with people though with that? Do you think, like, if they use it too...
Sure. Absolutely. Not everybody is ready for this. So this is not about reincarnation. We're not bringing back people to life. And look, this is part of the grieving process. There's a study from the University of Toronto. It says 41% of people that go through life review therapy have positive mental health benefits. This is what this is. This is helpful, but it's helpful because it preserves stories and legacies in a way that actually allows you to pass them on to future generations. We also have guardrails in place that monitor for both repetitive behavior, risky behavior, rabbit holes.
Mm-hmm.
and will actually shut it down and tell you to go out for a walk
Really?
if you're just cycling endlessly and not letting go, right? So we're there for connection, not to solve a therapeutic problem.
Yeah, because that's the only thing that I could see people trying to use it as a crutch, I guess you could say, right? And I understand
Like,
it. You know
how
what I
many
mean?
crutches do I have? Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
You know?
Okay, one more crutch, but it's not the only crutch. I mean, I
Yeah.
got plenty. I got photos of my dad, over there, and
Yeah.
my mom over
No,
there.
but what I'm
like,
saying is like people will try to, I think, like use it as more of a like bring back when it's
oh,
not that, right? What I want people to understand, it's where you have a conversation and you have those memories to keep those memories alive, and the legacy is what it's really about. Am I not wrong?
dude, okay. Love letters in the attic from your
Yeah.
mom to your dad. You go up and
Yeah.
read them, right? It's a crutch. A portrait of your parents over the fireplace. That's a crutch.
100%. My buddy had a coffee cup and he couldn't even open up the cupboard because the coffee cup was there. You know what I mean? I totally get it.
They're all
Yeah.
memory
Yeah.
devices, right?
Yeah.
Like, get over it. This happens
Yeah.
to be really good.
I think it's
but
amazing. I had the conversation. It's blew me away, man. It blew me away. Definitely did.
But it's just another technology for intergenerational storytelling and memory, and it's just better.
Yeah.
That's all.
And you're leaving a legacy is what it is. You know what I mean? You're
Yeah.
leaving this digital print legacy, like we spoke earlier about, where like I have this for my daughter, but you're up one and you have a full on conversation. And then, like you said, video coming too, where you can have a video. Like that's amazing, man. And I think it's pretty wild. And if you haven't checked it out, I'm going to put it up one more time because I think that people should check it. I'm all about the AI. I'm all about technology and growing. I use that stuff every day. You know what I mean? And it's the change this world is coming to, really. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So tell me a little bit more of this journey. Like, where do you see Reflecta in like 10 years?
All right. So Elon's thinking maybe planet Earth is not going to last forever. So we ought to build some rockets so we can get the hell out of here and get to Mars. Maybe he's right. Don't know. But what Reflecta has decided is that we can preserve the memories and legacies and stories of planet Earth by those that have lived here. And we'll stick around. That's our mission.
I love it. I think it's great. I really do think it's great. So can you tell everybody what like your challenge was, like building this whole thing? Like being like, everybody sees the bigger picture. Oh, this is, AI, this is great, this whole beautiful thing. But what's the challenge behind all of it for you?
The biggest challenge was getting it right. Let me explain that to you. Early on, we were really afraid that some kids in San Mateo, California, living in their grandma's basement, quit playing video games and started to program something like this and didn't think it through and just created some grandma that nagged at you to clean your room. And indeed, that was created after us. But what we did was slow down and recognize the emotional load. Again, something I've done myself, something Adam's done himself. We start texting with our grandparents. We start talking to them. We realize, whoa, this is a significant emotional load here. We're dealing with people's memories. We're dealing with people's emotions. We better get this right. So we have a soul team of anthropologists, psychologists, psychiatrists, grief counselors, etc., that advise us on how to phrase these things, how to present them. Even the fact that we're called reflections, right, is an important distinction because it's not them being brought back. It is a reflection of them being reconnected with. And so the soul team, as we call them, create a white paper. You can look it up. It's the very first paper we published. It's called Soul Tech. And that was our attempt to get it right. And we had some significant, look, the whole team, perhaps like everybody in the world, but the whole team experienced loss, grief, pain, confusion in the last 6 months while this was being launched.
Okay.
And so fighting through that each day and getting to the point where you could actually work on something that would benefit others who are fighting through grief, pain, and confusion. That's what drove us. And that's what made Reflecta so beautiful.
I love it, man. I love it. So, you know, for me, grief drove me to make this podcast, you know. So what that stuff does too, it can be very powerful when you use it the right way, you know, and use the use your lessons that you've learned and turned it into beautiful things like with this. You know, it's a beautiful thing and you're giving back to the community, you know, and I how did this idea just pop? Like, how did it again? It just like how
God bless. I mean,
yeah,
like
it just
very slowly for 30 years and then very suddenly 9 months ago. Adam Drake and I have been buddies for a long time, worked together on a lot of different projects, and are also really in tune with legacy and values and family history. And he wrote a blog, I wrote a blog, he wrote a blog, I wrote a blog. Like, great. All right, we're having the battling blogs, so why don't we sit down and actually see if we can build this thing? And it worked.
yeah.
So, our timing was sublime, but, like that was just like a baby being born in the golden age. Like they didn't have anything to do with it.
Yeah.
And we just like, okay, we can't wait 1 minute more. We've been thinking about it for 30 years. Let's go.
Beautiful. And then it was created and it was born. And how did you come up with the name?
What a great story. I'm not in that room today, but look, the first name that lasted about 5 minutes was Dead Me. It's like,
Dead
okay.
Me. Okay. I
Right,
think it's a good
like-
yeah.
Like, I'm going to create this, and when I'm dead, it'll be me. All right, 5 minutes. Then we came up with Eterna Me, right? Like me for eternity. That's fine. Okay. And remember, we had this countdown to the big show, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like 30 days to go. It's like, all right, are we going to go with Eterna Me? Is it about me? Is it about others? We're like, It's like, these are really like little shimmers, little glimmers, little reflections. Yeah, reflections. And I mistyped. The K isn't very close to the C in the keyboard. Somehow I put in reflections with a K. And it turns out it was a camera manufactured in 1949 to 1951 in East Germany. And then the company went out of business. Reflecta with a K. What does it take? I had one of those in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania in 1974 for about 15 minutes, and I lost it or something. But what I remembered about it is it just took these fuzzy pictures. I probably didn't know how to use the focus. Well, so hold it. Reflecta is available, and Reflecta.ai is definitely available. Let's go. We filed that, and we bought a camera on eBay. We have the Reflecta camera. We have a few of
Really?
them. Yeah, we did.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty
That's
cool.
awesome.
Yeah, I know.
Very
it's
cool.
wild.
Yeah.
Like, can't make this stuff up. Yeah, a misspelled Google search. That's
Well, I mean, everything happens for a reason, I believe. So
amen.
here you are. Well, man, if you could please shoot us out again all your links where people can get a hold of you and find you, and just a quick little, like for your LinkedIn's or whatever you got out there, please, one more time.
Absolutely. It's, on LinkedIn, it's Miles Spencer. I have a blog where I rant and rave. That's milesspencer.com. A lot of reflect on there, but a lot of my other stuff like watercolors and sourdough bread and raising crazy kids and other great stories of my heroes. Again, it's all about storytelling. And that probably helped me and Adam roll into Reflecta because we've been storytelling for a long time. It's very important to us. And the big one, of course, is Reflecta with a K, .ai. And go talk to my dad and Arthur or Virginia and build your own or build one for a loved one that you're thinking of.
And ask him about the poem, If. It's a great poem.
It's fantastic, man.
It is.
It's just like He's read it at a couple of big events for me. And now I've been asked to read it at my niece. That was the young girl whose voicemail ended up being my dad, right? And she's asked me to recite this poem. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you. If you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too. If you can wait, not be tired by waiting. Or being lied about, don't deal in lies. Or being hated, don't give way to hating. And yet, don't look too good, nor talk too wise. It goes on from there. It's a beautiful poem.
Very
And
beautiful.
it's a great way to end a show.
Very great way to end the show. Well, I just want to say, Miles, thank you, man. I think Reflecta.ai is just, I'm going to go back there again and ask your dad a couple more questions. I don't know. I think it's very interesting. And I want to know about the old times. So I'm going to actually ask Virginia a couple of stuff too. My mom was a ballerina. So we'll
cool.
see. Very,
cool.
very.
Please
Well,
build your own.
Yeah, I actually would like to talk to you maybe a little bit after, and I'm very interested in this because I like the whole AI thing. I like leaving a digital footprint for my daughter. You know what I mean? So can you add, like, could I do it right now and just add it as I go? Like,
Of
if
course.
anybody, yeah,
Of
okay,
course.
okay. Well, like, say I'm the key holder, okay, I'm adding in there, but then I pass away.
Someone inherits that.
So do you have that in there?
You would name, you would name your daughter. Yeah,
Okay, cool. So just the questions in case anybody was wondering. Well, Miles, I appreciate everything, and everybody, you can find all the links, everything in the description. Check it out. Go have a conversation with Arthur or Virginia, all right? And you will be blown away. You will be blown away. I'm telling you. Well, we'll see you guys next weekend or next week. So take it easy and one love. Bye. Boom.